different today because I have something special to share with you. And I came to my favorite place to share it because this is where it was revealed to me by God, and I just had to share it with you. Um, so I know the lighting's not great, and there could be sounds of all sorts, and the sound may not be great. And there could be a car that comes by. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll just run with it. And because it's so important that you have as much of the experience that I had when God revealed this to me. And I want you to hear this in your heart. I want you to feel this in your body. I want you to receive this in your soul, in your spirit. And I hope it speaks to you the way it spoke to me most recently. Because recently I've been going through a little bit of a rocky time, shaky situation, a couple shaky situations. I have such a great life, and I'm so grateful for it. But life is life, and things happen, and challenges come, and sometimes those challenges are growing us, but they're triggering things in us that God needs to grow, and that God is grabbing hold of, and He is loving us in it. But it feels hard, and because growth is hard. Comfort is easy. Growth feels hard. It's not glorious like we think it would be. It takes change and pain and uncomfortableness, but I embrace it because I'm a growth-minded person, and I love always growing into the next level of myself. The highest version of me is. I don't want to ever live my life in comfort or familiarity at the expense of the growth of my mind, my body, or my spirit. And so that's just who I am, and I'm grateful that God made me that way, even though it makes life very tough sometimes and challenging. But so this couple of situations in my life rattled me a little bit, and I had lost my center. And in my quiet time a couple days ago, God brought me back to my place. This is my place with Him. It's at my house, and I love this spot. I don't know why this particular spot, but He just speaks to me here, and He's spoken to me here many, many, many times. It's my place with Him, and where I come when I'm in good places and when I'm in tough places. And so I was here, and opened my Bible to, of all crazy things, He reminded me that the word He gave me for this year, I don't know if you guys do a word for the year, but my word this year was love. And I didn't really understand that at the time. I'm like, what is that about? Like, I don't get what that's about, God, but okay, I got it. I'll let you show me what that's about. Well, I've been asking Him, and it was about His love for me, and me understanding that. He told me the other day, He finally gave me the answer that, it's like, no, it's about me. It's about how much I want you to not only just understand, but embody and embrace and experience my love for you. The love that I have that is all of these things that I wrote in my word. And I've got my Bible. I am reading out of the Mirror Study Bible today. So it's a Bible that a lot of people haven't heard of. I love it. It's a special translation. And you need to check it out if you haven't, because it is mind-blowing. And I'll read it to you today so you can see what I'm talking about. But I opened to, I don't know, he just spoke into my mind. He said, go to 1 Corinthians 13, because that's the love chapter. And I just knew that when my center was off, and I'd lost my peace, and I'd lost my joy, and I'd, needed revelation from Him. I needed Him very badly. I needed Him to center me again. I needed His peace inside of me. I needed to know that He was near, because He didn't feel near at the moment. That I came back to my place, came back at my favorite time of the day, which was dusk. I came back to the stillness of the water, which is life-giving to me. And I went to 1 Corinthians 13, just like He told me. And the first thing it says is, at the top of the page, it says, love is who you are. And bear with me here. You'll want to hear this. I know it's, it takes time, but I'm going to read this to you. And I want you to get this and hear it the way that I did, because it was revelatory. Love is who you are. Like, That is such a powerful statement. And then, starting in verse 1, he said, speaking in tongues is not the point. Love is. It's neither celestial, angelic eloquence, nor the mastery of human language that persuades. It doesn't matter how poetic, how prophetic, or how profound I may sound. My conversation is reduced to the hollow sound of clanging brass cymbals if love's echo is absent. And then in the explanation for that, it says this. The Greek word for the love of God, of course, is agape. We know that. That's nothing new. But listen to what agape really means. To lead like a shepherd guides his sheep. Meaning to rest. He leads me beside still waters. And of course, my breath was taken when it's like, holy cow, here I am beside the most beautiful still waters where he meets me every single time. And he led me like a shepherd led his sheep here. Like he always does in life. Listen to this. By the waters of reflection, my soul remembers who I am. God's rest is established upon his image and his likeness and is redeemed in us. Thus, to encounter agape love is to remember who I am. It's just unbelievable when he speaks to us in the center of our pain, in the center of our struggle, in the center of where we lose our center, where we've lost who we are, where we forget who we are, because that's what struggle is when we have our eyes on our circumstances or our eyes on something that we think we want or something that we are trying to get outside of him, and we lose who we are. And on down in verse 2, he says, love is who you are. And love is not about defending a point of view. Love does not have to prove itself by acts of supreme devotion or self-sacrifice. Love is large in being passionate about life and relentlessly patient in bearing the offenses and the injuries of others with kindness. Love is completely content and strives for nothing. Love has no desire to make others feel inferior and has no need to sing its own praises. Love is predictable and does not behave out of character. Love is not ambitious. Love is not spiteful. Love gets no mileage out of another's mistakes, and it bears no records of wrong. Love sees no joy in injustice. Love's delight is in everything that truth celebrates. Love is a fortress where everyone feels protected rather than exposed. Love's persuasion is persistent. Love believes. Love never hopes and always remains constant in contradiction. Love never loses altitude. It's always soaring. It's concluded in completeness. And here in agape love, in God's presence, in connection with him, in remembering who he is to me, in these still waters, in the reflection of the waters, in his presence, my soul remembers who I am. And that it was like the life came back into me. It poured back into me, and the connection with him poured back into me. Because I read this passage for the first time, not as love that I'm supposed to be trying to achieve or attain with some other person. Yes, that's important, or other people that I'm in connection and relationship with. But I read it for the first time. I know this may sound silly, but I read it for the first time as, this is who I am, Connie, from his perspective. He wants us to understand who he is and how his agape love is in its very character, in its very nature, in its unchanging nature. And so that we can understand how whole and complete and life-giving it is. rather than a counterfeit love of things of the world, or trying to fill our hearts and our souls with things that are dead or dying or counterfeit that don't fill us like his love does. Nothing fills us like his love, his whole, complete, perfect love. And we are reflections of who he is in that very love. And our lives are about growing and maturing into the fullness of that. Not getting it perfect, not just getting it right, not doing it all perfectly all the time, not performing in it, but just as we come to understand who he is and who we are in him and whose we are, and how to live that out by being in his presence, by embracing, accepting, receiving his whole and complete love, rather than trying to fill ourselves up with dying things that don't fulfill us. Then we regain our center. We regain our understanding, or we gain our understanding for the first time of who we really are and what we're capable of and what life is about. And we can come back to the peace and the joy of our life in him. And then everything we are and everything we do expresses itself out of that place. That seamless union, because that's how he ends the chapter. He says, agape is the superlative of everything faith and hope always knew to be true about me. Love continues in seamless union with pleasant expectation. And it's like, I want you to breathe that in for just a minute and receive that. And ask him for what you need in that today, so that you too can come back beside still waters, wherever that is for you. Or just maybe wherever you are, and feel the stillness of his living water that he wants to pour into you, which is his Holy Spirit. It's in you. He breathed it into you, and he wants to breathe it into you every day. And he wants to fill you with that and grow you in that, in seamless union with him. But in order to do that, we have to spend time with him. We can't be pursuing the things that are not of him, that are dying and that are dead and that are not fulfilling like he is. We have to come back to him, and we have to come back to the soul of who we are and understand and remember who we are in him. And so that's my prayer, that's my challenge for you today, is to be reminded of his love for you. And what does that really mean? And I want you to begin to ask him about that. Lord, how do you love me uniquely? How do you love me different than you do everybody else? How did you create me? Who am I in my very soul, in my very spirit? And what life do you want to flow from that? And that's where I challenge you and I encourage you to come back to today. And then I'll finish with this. Isaiah 30:15 is, in quietness and confidence is where you rest and where my strength is. That's paraphrasing that. But go and read that. It's in him. It's returning to him. It's repenting. It's coming back. It's returning to who he is and understanding who he really is, not who the lies tell us who he is, or what our experiences and our disappointments and our painful moments in life have told us about who he is. It's about who he really is. It's about agape love. It's about whole, unfailing, complete love. And in that space is where we know who we are. And out of that place, in that seamless union with him, is where we can begin to come alive like never before and live in a way that he created us to. That is a life that is better than we could have ever imagined for ourselves. And I'm going to be introducing a new program in the next couple of weeks that is going to be a spiritual discipleship program, a coaching program, a transformational breakthrough program, all in one. It's for everybody. If you've ever wanted to see me for counseling or coaching or any of it, it's going to be super affordable. It's going to be for everyone. It's going to be teaching you how to embody who you are in your essence, coming back to who you really are and whose you are, and how to understand and how to experience Him, how to hear from Him, how to tap into the wisdom inside of you, the power inside of you, how to live from your essence, and how to take the spiritual principles, the universal laws, the biblical truths, the transformational coaching practices, all the things that I've learned over the last 30 years of my life of growth, and am still learning every day, to live in the center of the life that He created us for. Not the life of struggle, striving, and surviving. Not the life of hurt and pain and disappointment. Not the life of lies, believing the lies and living in limitation, but the life of abundance, the life of prosperity, the life of goodness and wholeness and blessing, the life of fullness of life, the life of joy and peace internally, and a life of freedom like you've never experienced it before. So be looking for that. And if you're interested in that and you want to go ahead and get on my list to find out more about that, then shoot me an email at conniej@arisecounselingandcoaching.com, or respond to this email, or PM me on Facebook, and I'd love for you to be a part of that, because I'm about to unload everything I've ever learned and teach it to you and walk it out with you, and it's going to be so good. But today, just start by coming back to who He is and asking Him about His love for you, and asking Him to reveal it personally and intimately like He's never done before. And then sit beside His still, quiet waters and get a reflection of who He has made you to be in the center of your soul and your spirit. And remember who you are, and come back to that restful, peaceful, joyful, freedom place, and live true life out of that. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.